everybody. This is Katie Carney from Katie Carney Stitches. It is Sunday, August 22nd. I've got my cup of coffee. It's around 9 a.m. on Sunday. And this is my Flosstube number 49. So welcome and hi. I do have a fan going on low, but it's right here. And if you can hear it, I do apologize. The humidity is 96% here because of Hurricane Henri, and guys, I'm done. I'm done with the humidity. I didn't like humidity ever, and this year it has just been so oppressive that as soon as the air stops moving, I can't live anymore. So how many videos in a row of this is me? How many videos in a row do you have me at the beginning complaining about the heat and humidity? I had enough yesterday, so I put my fall bunting up. Over here, you can see my pumpkins are up. I was done. Yesterday I went to Hobby Lobby. I got some decoration. I didn't get any decorations for my house, but I got some decorations. I need a wreath, but I'm done. And so this is going to be a long beginning of the video where I catch you guys up with my life. Partially because it's been 3 of the wildest weeks of my life. The last time we chatted, I had put my notice in at work that day. Excuse me, hold please. On top of everything else, I'm in the midst of an allergy attack for some reason. So anyway, last we chatted, I had put my notice in that day at work, and I was set to start a new job in just over 2 weeks. My last 2 weeks at the American Wine Society were wild. It's a very busy time of year. I chose an awful time to leave, but as my boss told everybody he talked to, people leave. I don't think they've hired anyone yet because they are planning to have me train that person. But I don't know if that's actually going to happen. And if it doesn't, c'est la vie. It was a very difficult decision to leave. I liked my job quite a bit and I really liked the people I worked with, but it was time to go. But saying goodbye and slowly telling people, and I mean, it was very sad. But also it was nice because, I really made it a point to reach out to the people who had been good to me in the 4.5 years I was there and to thank them for everything. So that was great. In the midst of all this, I had a trip to Ohio planned to see my mom's family. And it was wonderful. I had a horrible travel experience, which I'll tell you after I tell you about how wonderful it was to see my family. So my mom was born in Vandalia, Ohio, and lived there until she finished college, and then she moved to Maryland where she met my father and unexpectedly found herself with child, and I am the result of that. And my parents got married. They lived in Maryland till I was almost 9, and then we moved to Scranton. And then when I was 23, maybe, 20, yeah, maybe, my mom moved back to Ohio, and then several years later, she passed away in Ohio. I made the decision when my mom passed away to stay close with my family. She had 2 sisters and a brother. They're not deceased, she is. She has 2 sisters and a brother. My godmother, my Aunt Mary, is the oldest sibling. My Aunt Carol, who very kindly lets me stay with her when I come to visit. And then my Uncle Mike, whose wife, Debbie, was my mom's best friend. So my Aunt Debbie made sure to call my mom every day when she was sick, for which I will never have words for how grateful I am. So I had a wonderful visit. I flew in on Wednesday. I got off the plane, took myself to Chick-fil-A for lunch. You still can't eat inside, so I ate in the car. Proceeded to spill on my shirt. my suitcase was packed within an inch of its life. So I went to Walmart. I had to get soda. My cousin had everybody over for pizza. So I was going over to her house anyway, excuse me. And sorry, allergy attack. I picked up this shirt actually for $8. Because I needed something to wear. So I didn't want to open my suitcase. You know how that is. We had a wonderful visit Wednesday night. Thursday, it was 100 and some degrees, I think. I got up. I took a walk. I went to Tim Hortons and got a coffee. And then I went for a ride with my Aunt Carol. She got married again after her divorce. So my Uncle Harold, he took me around Dayton and showed me like the Wright brothers mansion, and so that was really fun. We took a driving tour, and then I drove with my aunt and uncle to Cincinnati, which I've actually never been to see my mom's father's niece, who I've always called my Granny Jean, and her husband, my Papa John. I have not seen them in 20 years. We had a wonderful lunch. We caught up. I, of course, cried when I said goodbye, got in the car, put my sunglasses on, had a little bit of emotions. And then Thursday night, my Aunt Carol and my cousin Carolyn and I went out for dinner. And then Friday, I drove to Indianapolis. So I had driven to Indiana once, but just in the border. I had driven into Indiana with my brother. We had lunch, did a little shopping, and then left, and we could mark it off. Indianapolis is only 2 hours from Vandalia, so drove to Indianapolis, met my friend Kat. We went to a really fun yarn shop, which I'll show you what I got. We went to a really great like hipster lunch place. I don't remember what it was called, but the food was good. Service was but the food was really good. And then we walked around Indianapolis for a couple hours, right in the downtown. And I was able to do like the walking tour kind of, and I dragged her along with me, and it was so great. And then, I got stuck in terrible traffic, but I managed to get home, and I had dinner with who at the time were my current coworkers from AWS. And then Saturday, more family time. And then Saturday night, barbecue. And I only cried a little bit when I left. And then I went back to sleep at my Aunt Carol's one more time. And then I got up Sunday and I drove to Kentucky. So I drove to Kentucky in horrible rain in my rental car. Turns out that my rental car had bad tires. That was a fun surprise. But I met my brother and my sister-in-law Laura for breakfast in, I want to say Georgetown, Kentucky, but I could be wrong. We were about 25 minutes out of Lexington. So I am now going to tell you about my horrible travel experience. The things you see on the news are all true, guys. So on Wednesday, when I flew out, I flew from Scranton to Dulles and Dulles to Dayton. We sat on the tarmac with the plane off in the 104-degree Washington, D.C. heat for 90 minutes. Seatbelted, because the seatbelt sign was on and we weren't allowed to get up. It got so bad that the flight attendant brought water, warm water, it wasn't cold, around to us. And I was just like, it was gross. I was wet and sweat. The girl behind me, her dog had been skunked the day before. And I'm sitting in my wedged in it because it was one of those tiny planes and I'm not a tiny woman. I'm wedged into this seat and it was, one, there's a pandemic and the flight was jammed. And I was just like, I now see why people go insane on planes. I see it now. So finally we take off. The pilot put the foot to the floor and we made up a lot of that time. Got to Dayton. And it was what it was. I was late getting in, but what are you gonna do? Then Sunday happened. So after breakfast, we took a walk around this cute little town and we were chit-chatting, and my text messages, they come to my watch, and I got a text and I flipped my watch up and it said United, and I had already checked into my flight the day before, and I was like, oh no. So it's like 10:30, 10:15, something like that. I look at my text and my flight's delayed an hour and 5 minutes. Well, I only have an hour and 2-minute layover in Dulles, so I'm going to miss my connection. So in the United app, you can try to pick a different airport or a different flight. You got 5 airport options. There is nothing. So I immediately have to call United. I'm on hold for 25 minutes waiting for someone. I got a lovely woman in Houston, guys. She was so nice. We're trying to figure it out. I'm like, I can fly out of Cincinnati or Lexington. I could probably get to Louisville if I have to. Is there any way I can get to Dulles for this 5:15 flight back to Scranton that I have a seat on? No way. Okay. There's a flight from Chicago to Scranton at 6:15. Can I get to that? That flight is booked. So finally, after 90 minutes, she bumps a pilot off, like what do they call them when they just ride? She bumped somebody off the Lexington to Chicago flight. So I have to go to Lexington. She's like, get in the car and start driving. Because at this point, the flight's under 2 hours before it leaves. I should already be at the airport. No idea what security in Lexington is like. Turns out it's a very small airport, but I don't know that. Have to return my rental car. So I'm driving to this airport, calling Avis to tell them I have to return the rental car. $200 to return the car in a different state. And I didn't have time to gas it up. She's like, is the gas full? And I was like, no, not at all. Because I was going to drive until I needed gas and then fill it up so that it was full when I turned it in Dayton, not in Kentucky. So turn the car in. Going through security, I am stressed. I am like literally running. I'm so nervous because, again, I don't know what their security is like. Because you never know. Small airports, you think it's going to be great and really fast and really easy, and then it turns out that, they have the entire soccer team that has to go through security that day. I do have TSA pre-check, and when she was putting me on this flight, I was like, listen, I have pre-check. Just make sure it's on my ticket so I can get through. So I get there and I'm going through pre-check, and this TSA woman, she was so nice. She's like, sweetie, I can tell you're stressed. And I was like, I am. She's like, you're fine, but your zipper is down. And I was like, well, of course it is. Then I forget to take everything out of my pockets. Of course, again, I'm stressed. Get through security. Everything is fine. I go to pick up my bag. And the TSA agent, this nice gentleman, has my purse in his hand. And he's like, I have to go through your purse. And I was like, I don't care. At this point, you can throw the whole thing away. I got my passport. We're good. Just toss it. I don't care. I brought a seltzer. My water bottle was in there. And I was like, I bet you there was water still in the bottom of my water bottle. I'm so sorry. Again, you can throw it out. I don't care. It's expensive, but I don't care. I just want to get through security. A seltzer. I brought a can of seltzer through security, and I was like, toss it! And he's like, ma'am, you didn't bring a gun through. Calm down. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I would never. And it was awful. And then you all might think that I'm getting back to Scranton. I'm not. I'm flying into Allentown, which is an hour and a half away from Scranton. So I land in Allentown at 9 p.m. Mark has to drive to get me. I've begged him. I didn't beg him. I said, Mark, can you pick me up in Allentown instead of Scranton? He does. We have an hour and a half drive home, and I still have to go to work the next day. But I did get back, and it all worked out, and that's all that matters. Then we go back to work. I worked for AWS Monday and Tuesday. The board of directors sent me a beautiful bouquet of flowers as a thank you. And then Wednesday morning, I started my new job. No rest for the wicked. My new job it's very different. I've always done secretarial work, but it's always been as a part of all of my other tasks. And I am an administrative assistant in this job. So it's definitely different in that I am not in the room where it happens. I am next door and you're telling me what to do. And I love the place, guys. It is so it's so pleasant, and the people are so happy to see me, which they don't know me, so I don't know why they're so happy to see me, but it is so pleasant. The air conditioning works. There's water. The toilets flush. They had an employee appreciation day on Thursday where they provided lunch for the entire staff. They do that once a month where they do something. They had a little flower on my desk on my first day. I have a giant office with a window, and they got a new computer set up for me, and everybody just keeps saying we don't want to overwhelm you, and, you know, we're taking it nice and slow, and it has just been such a pleasure to go to work. I am incredibly lucky. I love my new job, but by Friday night, between quitting a job, going to Ohio, finishing that job, and starting the new one, I was dead. Again, it's wonderful, and I'm so lucky. This has been a very, very long 16-minute intro, but I do kind of use these as like a what's going on in my life. Excuse me. So I did want to catch you all up if you cared, and if not, someday if I look back, I know that it's here. So anyway, that was my last couple crazy weeks. And now let's get into a little bit of stitching. So first off, Mark and I went to Philly. I think I told you. Oh no, I'm lying to you. I did tell you that. But then Fra and I went to the movies before I went to... I should go with finishes and go in the right order. I have one finish. It's fine. Everything is fine. So as you know, I hope I didn't just show off the back of the pattern. I am doing the Prairie Schooler Santas. My first 84 through 87, I got the reprint. I don't care. It's still the pattern. So I had done the first three, and I had finally started the 1987, and I finished him, finally. Felt like it took forever. So there is 1987. Turns out this is a teddy bear. I missed his eyes, but that's okay. He's pretty cute. I might go in and backstitch his little nose in so it doesn't look so crazy. And then here are my first 4 Prairie Schooler Santas. Yay! So I think 4 a year for the rest of my life will be great until I catch up. It'll only take me forever. So yeah, that's the first 4, 1984 to 1987. Ouch. Just banged my elbow. So that's my finish. Then, as I said, Fra and I went to the movies. I think I had told you all that I am working on a sweater. It's a very plain sweater, and I don't have the pattern sitting here, which I thought I did. But I got a couple more. I knit during the movies, particularly in a movie theater, because it's dark. I just bring something that's very simple to work on. So I put a couple of more inches into the body of this sweater. And it's knit 1 round and then knit through the front loop for 1 round. So that's why it kind of looks a little crazy. When I wash this, it'll look a little less crazy, and that's how it's supposed to look. So slowly but surely moving through this sweater. I'm meeting a friend at Panera for lunch. Wait, do I have the picture? Nope, this is my movie ticket. I'm meeting a friend for lunch at Panera today, so I will probably bring my knitting because it's easier to knit and talk, I think. So that's my first whip. Take a little sipperooski of the coffee. Oh, thank you for coffee. My second whip is, the night before I left for Ohio, I said, I never did consider the lilies in July. Let alone August. It's already the 22nd. So this is considered the lilies. My goal is to do 1 page a month for 2 years so that I finish it in 2 years. I am now behind. so I do need to work on this. This is by Heartstring Samplery. I am doing this as a Sal with Michelle, made by Michelle McGraw and Sarah K. Stitches. And it is a Sparrow Among the Lilies Sal. So I'm hopefully going to work on this soon. So I'm not going to take it out of the hoop, but I have finished the whole top row, and then I started this page here. So I've got the border, just the green part of the border done, and I need to do the flowers, and then there's obviously fill in here. So hopefully today, I had it on my floor stand, but I've been enjoying stitching sitting at my desk. So I'm going to put it on my Dubco and see if that makes me actually work on it. We shall see. So that's my whip number 2. And I have a couple more. First off, so when I am leaving a job, starting a job, any sort of upheaval in my life, traveling to Ohio, I organize and clean. Not that you can tell because I have so much stuff that there's only so much you can do, but I do. I organize and I clean. That's how I deal. And so I was going through my whips. I keep my smaller whips in project bags like this. My big whips are here. And in going through them, I rediscovered my Lindy Stitches Autumn Royalty, and I was like, oh, I want to finish this. So this is Lord of Gourds, Count of Candy, and Prince of Pies. I have this one and this one done, so it was time for Count of Candy. And I've been working on this maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes a day. In the morning, I get up, I do a little bit of reading very early, and then if I have time, I have been stitching on this. So this is probably 3 or 4 days work. And usually on all the other ones I've started with the letters, but since I enjoy letters so much, I decided to start with the bird, which I knew I wouldn't like. So that's the Count. And he's coming right along. He's in 310, which is great. I'm glad that he was not in a fancy floss color. I did buy this kitted. This is the bag that it came with. I don't think you'll remember, but the letters are all in, was it molasses, I think? And I am probably not going to have enough to finish, but I am going to start the letters in the called for color, and see how far I get, and then I will just switch to the DMC alternative. So, and then just to remind you all, here's what the other two look like. I am using Fabric Flare 14 count Ada that I had for these, and it's obviously bigger than hers are called for. My goal is to make these into flat folds, but we shall see. I've never done that. I've watched Vanna's tutorial a lot, and she's never led me astray before, so hopefully I'll be able to figure it out. But it would be nice if I had these 3 done for August this year, so we shall see. Like I said, that has been my morning stitch that I've really been enjoying. Again, it's one of those projects that I don't work on it for a while, and then I pick it up and I'm like, oh, I love this. So I'm glad I rediscovered it. And I was going through my smalls that are kitted and actually in progress, and there are a lot I want to get done. Although last night when I was going to bed, I said, it's the 22nd of August, and you don't have fuzz ornaments stitched. You have 10 more to do. So that's going to become my work stitching. But I'll show you what I've been working on at work in a second. So, at my last job, I took my lunch sitting at my desk, but I didn't take lunch. I just worked through it. And I'm trying to be better about I get a half hour. It's unpaid, so, you take your half hour. I'm trying to be better about taking that. So when I went to Ohio, I wanted something very easy. I'm too fat to cross stitch on planes. I bring a book because I sit like this and I'm as small as I can. So obviously I don't have room to be cross stitching. But in the airport, and that's the only time I worked on it, I got about, so I started this Prairie Schooler Santa in 1988. I got the red here done, but not this part, in the airport waiting to fly out from Scranton to Dulles. And then maybe I stitched a little bit before bed one night. And then when I was in Chicago, I had a longer layover. So I took myself for not a decent dinner. It was at a bar, but like where they brought me the food. And I walked around the airport quite a bit. And then I picked this up. And I finished the red border and I started the green. And here is where I am so far. I love how the borders on these, you know, I do like to stitch a border first so that I can make everything fit in there. So that's what I've done so far with these. I think this border looks great. And you can see I've got his boots done and the bottom of his jacket. So this is Prairie Schooler Santa 1988. On all of these, I am using an 18 count oatmeal Aida that I get at Hobby Lobby. It comes folded in quarters. That's just the way it comes. So it comes folded like that. It's perfect because the Santa fits right in there. And I can fit 4. I could probably fit more, but I for these, because the fabric is so cheap and I don't know how I'm finishing them, I'm giving myself a pretty big margin. I'm using, with all of them, the called for DMC. So thus far, I've just used, so far there hasn't been the introduction of any new colors. I made myself a lovely little thread ring and this little Santa on it. And so there's my threads. And it lives in a pretty southern bag. So all my Prairie Schoolers have thus far been in this bag. But actually I took a smaller bag to Ohio because this was a little big for my purse. So anyway, that is my Ohio whip and has thus far been like my 10 or 15 minutes of my half-hour lunch work. But tomorrow will be my Froz ornaments because I forgot about them again. And then I had a new start last night. So yesterday I could not settle down with what's going on in the world. Obviously upsetting. It's very, very, very upsetting. It is upsetting. And that's all that needs to be said about it. I have been having awful nightmares. And I just couldn't, I cleaned for a while yesterday. I could not settle down. I got in an argument with my grandmother. It was just not a great day. Hang on one second. So I went to 2 cross-stitch shops in Ohio, one of which was a craft store. It carried everything. And I'm going to actually look it up to see what it was called because I don't remember. Hang on. So the first place I went was called the Busy Beaver Arts and Crafts. It was actually in Beaver Creek, which is about 20 minutes from Vandalia. So on Saturday I went there. They carried yarn, cross-stitch, crewel work, embroidery, stained glass, fused glass. Those are 2 different kinds of glass. Crochet, wood, like not like getting a saw out woodwork, but like where you buy the kit and you can paint it woodwork. They had a little bit of everything. They've been in business for 45 years. I do not think she buys a ton of cross-stitch stuff anymore, but if you are looking for a dimensions kit, you should call. She probably has hundreds. Every Mill Hill kit I've ever seen, she had. And then I purchased from her, she had a whole basket of lavender and lace and Told in the Garden. And I'll be honest, it took considerable restraint for me to just not take the whole basket up to the register and buy it all. And there were a couple I had in my hand that I put back that I regret. But I got Gift of Peace. This is one of the Santas. You guys know I have one of them that I'm working on. I got, this is a Butternut Road, and this is Once Upon a Time. And then this is Told in a Garden, The Harvest. And I think I might call them back and see. They had a bunch of the Told in a Gardens, and I really like them. And I want to go through and see what I have, and then see if they have any more of them and just get them. Everything was retail. I pay a lot more when I get them on eBay, so we'll see. I might do that. So that's what I got there. And I was chit-chatting with one of the employees. And she said, well, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And she says, oh, I'm from Exeter, which is like 15 minutes up the line, literally up the line. That means up the train tracks, up the line. And she's like, yeah, I moved here 25 years ago. My husband was working, they call it the base, but it's Wright Pat Air Force Base. And they just stayed. So she should be here now, actually, but we started chatting, and then she said, just down the road, there's a store that carries the more modern stuff, and that was called the Stitching Cottage. She does not have a website. So when I found her on Google before, she was closed. It said closed on Saturdays. So when this woman tells me, I was like, well, is she open? And she said, oh yeah, she's open. I was like, all right. So I went down, and it's the cutest little shop. It was very dimly lit, which I like. She was lovely. She does framing. So if you're in that part of Ohio, she does do framing. She didn't have a ton, but I managed to find some stuff. So one of the things, I saw this on the wall. I know it's hard to see, but that is a Little House Needleworks. And it is called Snow White, and she did not have any more of the green fabric. She said she had used just a scrap. There it is. Not a great, there we go. And I don't usually like stuff like that, but I fell in love with it. So we did find a piece of Zweigart. And it was this kind of like mossy green, and I really felt like it might be a little too light colored for snow. So I got it. It wasn't expensive, and I was like, well, I'll use it for something. And then when I came home, I pulled out, this is hand-dyed fabric by, she's Russian. She's from the USSR. Nope, she's not. She's from USR. They're not the USSR anymore. There's only one. I'm not. Lupatina. Anyway, it's a 36 count opalescent, hand-dyed, beautiful shade of green. And I decided, well, that'll be pretty. We'll try it. So I started this last night because I needed a new start. And luckily I have these, I laid in bed to do this. I didn't want to sit up. I wanted to lay. Luckily I have these absurd glasses that I got at CVS. I don't usually need, oh, I can't look through them. I have perfect vision, so I don't usually need any sort of magnification. But these have the lights, which I really like, and they are magnifiers. Well, I couldn't see this even with the magnification. But here is my start. I started using, I went to Joann's this week, and I got the Anchor floss that they're carrying now because I wanted to try it. So this is 0001, and this is their B5200 for DMC. So far, I like it just fine. I started with 2 threads because I didn't know what the coverage would be, and then you can see where I moved to 1. Sorry, that's really blown out. Now you see how hard it was for me to work on. So there it is. Whoops, there goes my fancy glasses. So I actually think I'm going to continue with the one strand for a little while and see how it is. This is just kind of an experiment, and it's for me. It'll probably just be a pillow in my dough bowl. So that's my start. I don't know if I'll keep working on it today or what. I have this in my Harry Potter Frogwarts box for year 2. I do like the anchor. This fabric, I can see it a little better now, but I could not see it last night at all. I don't know if my eyes were tired or I was tired. I was tired, but I'm glad I bought these. If anybody has any like glasses magnification that they recommend, let me know. I just had my eyes tested. I have 20/20. I have 20 vision here, and then this eye is a little better than perfect. So what is that, like 18 or 19? Because I think it goes down if your vision is, I don't know. It's a little better than perfect here, and it's perfect here, but I could not see that at all. I'm hoping that'll be quick and done fairly quick. So that's my last whip. I did get a couple other things though. I have no use for this, but I really liked the color. This is Wisconsin Woods, and it's like this purpley gray. Here we go. I just thought it was so pretty, so I just grabbed it. Maybe I'll have a use for it someday. And then I got, this was on clearance. It's a Little House Needleworks tote bag. Look at how cute that is. Although I have one more whip to show you, actually, that is such a disaster that I may never sew again. I got the Heartstring Samplery Baby It's Cold Outside. I know this was a whip after a stitcher who I did not know passed away, and that a lot of people did it, and I love it. And there is a blue conversion floating around on Instagram that Michelle McGraw sent me, and I want to do this in that, because I think it'll be beautiful. And then I do think that it'll be less Christmassy and more wintry. And then I got Colonial Women by Little House Needleworks. I love Little House. They're just the best. And Country Cottage, you know, the two of them. And then a friend of mine, he's much younger, is having his first child. And I was going to make a baby blanket. So I went to Joann's and I bought this fun pirate fabric and this pretty minky. And I ironed it all, and I was having a heck of a time pinning it. So I was like, well, let me just do one side at a time. And I messed it up. So then I ripped it out. Then I messed it up again. And now I'm probably going to throw it out. But my historic sewing machine is not currently working. And I think part of it was I had a bad day yesterday. It was hot. I couldn't seem to cool down. I don't know if it's PMS. I was so frustrated. So then I figured I'd pick it back up this morning before church, which now I'm going to have to go to church tonight because here I am. But I was too stressed to go to church. It's a mess. I have not yet decided if I'm going to... So the thing about piecing together the minky and the fabric is there's always issues with the cotton. It just seems to kind of like scrunch itself up no matter what I do. I also pin on a bed, not on like just a surface. I don't know if that's part of the problem. I don't know. If anybody has any advice, I'm looking for it, because right now I'm so disgusted that I probably am just never going to sew again. So, I do have some more haul though. So I went to a yarn store in Indianapolis. I don't remember what it was called. It was a big, like, not warehouse, but a big store, like the size of a very small grocery store, like a bigger than a bodega, but smaller than a small grocery store, somewhere in between there. Like the size of a shoe department. And they had, this is called Liberty Wool by Classic Elite. They had the prettiest pattern, which I got a photocopy of somewhere. Here it is. and it is a Liberty Wool one-of-a-kind pullover. It's a terrible picture. The original pattern used a ombre yarn in this, but they didn't. I liked one of the colors. It was like that light pink that I love, dusty rose, but they did not have nearly enough. I would need 15 balls, and they had like 7. But then next to it, they had this very pretty green, and green goes well with my eyes. You can see it's like my eye color. So I got 15, and whenever I finish my current sweater, I'll start this one. So that was a fun bit of haul when I was hanging out with my friend Kat, and which was a wonderful day. I had so much fun with her. And then when I was at Joann's, I also got a thing of Anchor. They're black. It's just plain black. And then the Country Cottage Needleworks piece. She had used like in the snowflakes a sparkle. So I just got the Diamante in silver. I'm probably not going to use that because I ended up using opalescent fabric, but I have it. Doesn't go bad. Yesterday I went to Hobby Lobby. In my new position, one of my jobs is going to be, there's like a billboard in the elevator with everybody's room listed, and my job is to decorate around that. And the woman who was there before me, she used to like print out quotes and stuff on Pinterest. I'm not good at stuff like that. So I went like back to school teacher shopping and I got all sorts of things to decorate the elevator. And so while I was at Hobby Lobby, I got a stackable thread box, but this is specifically for their like this kind of thread. I actually really like this. This is one of the multicolors. I think I told you I have a pink one and a red, white, and blue one of these, and I have a tendency to lose them because they're an odd shape compared to the rest of my thread. But I really like them. So my thought is I will keep just the variegateds in here, and then when they're on sale, I'll grab one if I happen to be in Hobby Lobby. So now I have 4 of them, and they're going to go in here. Hobby Lobby's cross-stitch department, they have a lot more accessories than they ever had. I got this to actually keep my sunglasses in. It's just a cute little sunglasses case or glasses case. And then I got this pattern case. I had hoped that it would fit my Little House Needleworks at my Country Cottage. I don't think it will, but I just thought it was cute. I'm sure I will find something to put in here. While I was gone, I actually think this is my last edition of The World of Cross Stitch came. And then I got a giant box in the mail from Pat. She has been slowly going through her stash and has been sending it to me as she finds things she doesn't want. So she sent me some excellent cross-stitch fabric and some fabric. It was a big box. It always is. And then she sent me... So here's some more Ada, but she sent me a Salem lace table linens, and I think it was one of these, if I remember correctly. Yes, she already stitched it. So I'm very excited to put that out. I think it's beautiful, so thank you so much. And then some vintage kits and books and patterns, both for cross stitch and for quilting, if I ever have the courage to quilt again. I truly don't know. I was so disgusted. I still am. So anyway, it has been a wild couple weeks. Today I'm going out for lunch with Fra and a friend to celebrate her birthday. Tonight I have to go to church since I didn't go this morning. I need to clean up all this mess. And that was another thing. I was like, I have so much stuff for this Flosstube and I need to put it away, so I need to record a Flosstube. But I thought I'd have a baby blanket to show off, and I don't. Anyway, I hope you all are well. I hope that you're enjoying the very humid end of summer. I hope that you're safe. I hope if you're in the path of Henri, that you stay out of his way. Is it Henri, like the French? Because Henry is Henry, and this has an I at the end, so I think it's Henri. But if I'm saying that wrong, I do apologize for everyone I offend with my horrible accent. Anyway, stay safe. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon.